Hello, and welcome to I Am Series podcast. I am Maysoon, your host. Today, we are talking about something very, very important, and that is resilience and the importance of resilience in our life. I Am Resilience is the topic, and my guest is the beautiful Mais Mohammed. Mais, hi.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my honor and my pleasure. And I want to introduce you to Mais. Mais is a personal friend of mine, but also she's a life coach. She's a TV presenter. She has her own podcast and her own program on TV. But also, Mais has been through her own share of life experiences, just like everyone else. Her experiences were a little bit, early. Let's put it this way.
Bumpy and
Yeah,
harsh.
bumpy, harsh, early. But I think when we go through life, probably this is your way of learning.
Yeah.
If I want to think about it in a positive way instead of putting, because when we go through, especially if it comes to our health, there's always this way that people around us, and I want you to talk about that because I know that this was your thing, but people around us sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, they reflect their own insecurities and their own issues and their own problems on us. I always tell my clients and even my friends, like, Mike, especially those who have kids, they say, for example, my son is, he doesn't have the courage. And I always tell them, please don't reflect your thoughts on your kids. Don't reflect your emotions on your kids or your experiences on your kids, because they will have their own experiences and you want to allow them to go through those experiences on their own.
Yeah.
So before we jump into that, I just want you to tell our audience a little bit about yourself, and then maybe we can hit the nail.
Well, I mean, you said a lot. you said pretty much everything that I do. Yes, I like you mentioned. Life coaching. Actually, the irony when I took up life coaching, it was mainly because I didn't really understand what my passion was. I was a bit lost. So, and I'm a curious kid. I've always been a curious kid. So I wanted to understand, like, where do these emotions come from? Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? I'm doing what I love, yet I still feel emptiness. So what is, like, I want answers. So I really took it for me. Like, I did the training for me, not to become a life coach.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized the learnings that I learned and the shift that happened. I really got to know myself. I couldn't sit with myself more than 5 minutes. Like, I didn't have a relationship with myself.
Before,
Yeah. Of course not now. And I'm talking about 15 years ago, 16 years ago, a long time ago. Like, the last thing I would do before I sleep, I had to speak to someone because, like, that's how bad I could not sit with myself,
Okay.
And then and yet again, I didn't see it as a problem. I thought, like, this is normal, why would I be lonely? Like, this is life.
Yeah.
Then I realized after I did the training, which was for something completely different, that, oh my. And I thought, there's no way I can have all this knowledge right now and not share it with the world.
Yeah.
And I continued that path. So I combined the media by using my voice to spread the knowledge. And I continue to study, I continue to experience until this day. I still go to trainings. I'm still the client, the client of life.
Aren't we all? I love that. I'm the same. Like, when I always say self-discovery is like, do you remember the Pringles ad? When you pop, you don't stop.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah?
Once you pop, you
Exactly.
can't stop. Yeah.
So the same thing here. Once we start learning about ourselves, first of all, we want to know more.
Yeah.
And second, we feel compelled to share and to, and our journey becomes clearer for us.
Yes.
As in a place where we think, why should I keep this knowledge to myself? Especially when we see people around us going through hardships and we feel like, oh my God, I can help here, let me help you. But we don't want to impose it as well, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's
of
very
course.
important.
Yeah.
So from your experience, so you went into this wanting to learn.
Yeah.
And then once you learned, you wanted to share.
Yeah.
But then how did you apply it to you through your experiences
That's
in
the
your
thing.
life?
I was, let's say, a little kid that didn't really have much bumps in life or traumas or, health issues that I had to deal with when I took the training. I was okay physically, mentally. Of course, I had limiting beliefs. I didn't have a relationship with myself. That's all dealt with, but I didn't really have anything big to face. And then once I finished the training, and many years later, that's when life decided to give me beautiful learnings. And I call them beautiful learnings, even though they're very harsh, but they're beautiful. They're beautiful in their own way because they've taught me so many beautiful things.
Okay.
They've basically woken me up. They said, hello, you have something that's not okay. You have something that's unresolved. You have something that you're doing wrong. So these so-called traumas are or illnesses are more like an awakening,
or a wake-up call.
a wake-up call, an awakening from inside that there is something there that is not okay. You need to deal with it. So that's why I call them beautiful journeys.
Yeah.
And I would not change them for the world.
Yeah.
Luckily enough, I knew what I knew.
Yeah.
So when I went through my battle with cancer, when I lost all my money, when I
I want to talk to you about that
about
money loss, because a lot of people go through that. And we spoke before, people who don't know you maybe don't know this about you, but I'm sure all your followers, because you were very transparent with your journey, especially your journey with cancer. You were very transparent because, like you mentioned earlier, you wanted to share that knowledge with people so that if anyone is going through the same journey, at least they have some tools that they can work with to support them in that life, in that specific journey that probably most of us think it's very harsh, oh, why, poor girl, why did this happen to her? And this is one of the things that you were like, no, I'm not taking this, right? Don't come to me if you're going to say, oh, poor girl, she's going through this.
Pity was not allowed.
Yeah, exactly. So, and this is how resilience is built, when you go through these hardships and you use the knowledge that you have learned, especially, and that's why I wanted to talk about the money loss, because a lot of people these days, with the economical situation, with everything that's happening around the world, a lot of people don't have this relationship with abundance, the right way of having a relationship with abundance. And we end up always, we make money and then suddenly we lose it and we don't understand why. Do you know why this happened? Like,
for
do
many
you have,
reasons.
Yeah.
Oh, why my money was stolen?
For like, in your experience, at least from your experience, can you share your learnings or what it is that
Well, my loss for money was probably from my own stupidity. It wasn't really meant to happen, I just well, it did teach me something, that never do anything in a rush.
There's a lesson.
Yeah, there's
in
a lesson.
everything,
Yeah,
right?
there's a lesson. But I feel like my illness got me prepared for my money loss. I think if I didn't learn the learnings that I had during my breast cancer journey, I probably would have lost my mind when I lost my money. Because the biggest lesson that I learned from my journey in breast cancer was how to let it go and surrender and not being attached to anything.
Oh my God.
So I was very attached to my paddle boards, which are things that make me happy, not attached to people. Like, I'm talking about materialistic stuff. So I'm attached to my stand-up paddleboard. I'm attached to my beach outings. I'm attached to these things that make me happy. And when I was told that I could not paddle anymore, I went insane. But that also made me realize at the moment that the way I reacted to that was more aggressive than when I found out about the diagnosis.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, whoa, this is alarming. And that main point of awareness, becoming aware that of your reactions. So I was aware of my reaction. And obviously, I listened to what other people say. Like, the doctor said, you didn't even react like this when I told you. So it was like, oh, wait, she's right. But why did I react this way? Am I that attached?
It was the
Really?
attachment?
It was, yeah, it's attachment. So I said, no, I need to learn to let go, whether of a body part or whether of a paddleboard or whether of a skill set that I won't be able to, or will be able regardless of at the moment to practice. So I learned how to let go of that attachment. And that applies to everything in life. Now, a few months later, whether it was for my own doing of opening an insecure link or putting my card
Everything happens
online,
for a
everything
reason,
happens for a
right?
reason.
It's not stupidity. It's a learning.
It's a learning, yes, but please do not,
I am not sugarcoating it. I'm just saying a
just don't
fact.
open any links that are insecure. Be careful of what you're clicking on. There are people out there that are not exactly the best intentions. So, so always become aware of these things. Not everybody has a clean, good heart. I know we all come as a pure soul, but
Yes.
because of things and
We all collect baggage along the way.
exactly. So when I woke up and I realized everything was gone, of course, I mean, it's not like I laughed. It was a shocking, very shocking experience. And everything I've worked on, all my savings, everything is just gone in a second. The first 2 days were very hard on me. And then that's the third day is when I realized that, wait a minute, the whole idea is that I need to let go. And am I going to get sick again because of this? I made it once, I can make it again. And that's when I had this new relationship with money. That it's there, but I have nothing towards you. You're a piece of paper. You're great to have. You secure items. You secure things that can add on to happiness. Like toys, you can say.
Yeah.
But you are not the source of my happiness. So with or without you, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And that's when I learned to have bare minimum. Without asking for help, which I could have, from my family.
Yeah.
I need your support. I need your help. Thank God I have family to help and support. But I didn't ask for their support because I wanted to go through the journey of how does it feel to be happy even though you don't have that. And it was such a beautiful learning and an experience. Again, using everything that I learned, everything that I was my own client. And I seeked, of course, I sat with other coaches. I seeked other journeys. I went on different retreats. I learned a lot of different things. So letting go is one of the biggest lessons that I've realized is the source of happiness.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because we're always attached sometimes to the smallest things when we don't even realize how many things, first of all, we take for granted.
Yeah.
The things that we have, especially our health.
Yeah.
A lot of times people take their health for granted up until the moment where something happens.
Yeah.
And then my biggest take from all of this is, why do we have to wait for something drastic to happen to learn? And this is what I always tell, especially my close friends, and I'm sure you do the same, because you love them so dearly. You would always want to protect them, and you would always want to be there for them. And the one thing that I can always say to my friends, and I feel like I'm there for them by telling them, why do you want to wait for something really drastic to happen for you to make a positive change for yourself in your life, or for you to go on a road that will lead you to goodness or to happiness or to joy and these are the things that we never look at until something like we lose our money, or we get into a health problem, or we have an accident. And there's always this question in our mind, why me? Why is this happening to me?
Yes,
We
the
come
victim.
from the victim.
Playing the role of the victim. It's very easy.
Yeah.
I think, you know what, as human nature, we tend to forget. So as much as it's why wait until something drastic happens to change, it's because by nature we forget. When we were born in this universe, we forgot everything from our past.
Yeah.
We had a life in our past, for whatever religion you come from.
Yeah. Our soul knows a lot.
Our soul, yes, exactly. Our soul knows a lot, whether from a heaven or from a past life or whatever your belief system is.
Yes.
You did exist.
Yes.
Somewhere else.
Yes.
But our nature is we forget. So the minute we were born, everything was like, poof, gone, Not that it's not there. It's a stored memory somewhere, but we tend to forget. And the same happens with wanting positive change. Because things are going so smooth and great in life, we forget that, I need to work on myself until something slaps you and you go like, why do we have to wait until something happens for me to work on myself?
Yeah.
I forgot. So by nature, we tend to forget ourselves, our purpose. We forget why we're doing what we're doing. And we forget why things happen to us.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
us, I say.
Well, they happen for you, to you, you know, but it's without playing the role of the victim. When I say, why are things happening to you? It's happening to you as a gift, you know? So you can say it as for you, as a
That's
gift,
why
you know,
I say
yeah,
it
it's
for
you.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, probably it's a better way of phrasing it. So it's the way, it's all about perception and the way you're looking at
Yeah.
it, you know,
Yeah.
and the way that you perceive things is just key. And whenever anything bad happens to me, and a lot of things have happened to me, you know, other than the, you know,
Yeah.
we don't need to share everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the moment, it's normal to express your emotions in anger and in frustration.
Actually, I don't say it's normal only. I say it's needed. It's
needed,
required, so
yes.
that you don't really keep things, because that's
Suppressed.
how our limitations. That's where our limitations come
Illnesses
from.
come.
When we suppress, when we don't talk, when we don't express our feelings, our emotions, or our anger, our resentment. Especially and I want to talk here specifically about cancer, because cancer is
suppressed anger.
Exactly.
That's what anger
suppressed
is.
anger and resentment, and we and if we want to talk about other kinds of illnesses, why we create them in our life is always there's this need for attention that I've had clients creating these things in their lives, and you want to understand why they create them. And you notice, for example, a woman who's going through a phase where her husband is divorcing her, she creates this in her life, and then she gets all the attention, and her husband is back and he's not divorcing her anymore. Kind of like this is her way of keeping him with her. She created this illness for herself so that he stays. But is this how we want
you're saying
to be
something
with
very
us?
important about creating a problem or creating a situation. And I think where the biggest problem is goes back to another point that you mentioned at the beginning, is that people do not want to believe that they create their illnesses and their problems and their situations. They victimize themselves, as in, I didn't do this, it happened to me. I didn't do this, this is the way it is, what it is. What happens as a result in your life is a creation of you. And when I say result in your life, I'm not talking about an earthquake or a tsunami. That has nothing to do with you. You know, you did not create that. Don't give yourself too much credit.
Yes.
But your results, as in a divorce, whatever it is,
anything
an illness,
personal,
anything
let's put it this
personal, a
way.
result that's to you. That is your own doing. That is your own creation. Now, if you want power, if you want that divine power that you're looking for, is to have the guts to sit down with yourself
and go in
and ask yourself this question. What did I do to create this?
Or why am I creating? What's my lesson? What am I trying to teach myself?
You've done it. You know, you've done something. The lesson comes later. But the root cause of the problem is what you need to find out. And the only way you can find that out is by asking yourself, what have I done to create this illness? This is something I've asked myself when I got diagnosed. And regardless, what have I done?
Did you get the answer?
Of course, yes. But that's something personal to me, you know.
No, but the question is, why am I asking you if you got the answer? Because what we think most of the time is that we will not know if we ask the question.
You do.
And I always tell my clients, and even everyone around me, stop, breathe, sit with yourself and ask the question, and I can promise you that the answer will come. It will not stay hanging. And if it doesn't come in that minute, in that moment, it will come later, and it will manifest itself in situations, in people in your life. It depends really on how you as a person learn. If I'm a person who only learns through my own experience, and most people are like that, but there are some people who are lucky enough and aware enough to learn from other people's experiences. But sometimes We want to learn from our own experience, and we want to learn from our own encounters with things. So if the answer doesn't come to me now, it will come to me as an encounter or as an experience. And then it will be like an eureka moment. Aha, now I understand.
Only for people that are aware and they notice.
And ready to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you can easily ask a question and then ignore all the signs.
Yes.
You're not going to realize the
Yes.
answer.
Yeah.
For you to ask something, you need to become very aware that there are so many signs around you that you need to pick up on. You need to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even, by the way, like, what have I done to create this? Can go as little as breaking your toe. You created that. Not the table and the side of the bed.
Yes.
And notice, and I've noticed that with many people, and I've broken my toe multiple times. So I can assure you that it is always the same answer, and it applies to everyone. It's like your body saying, slow down.
Yeah.
Please sit down. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And you don't listen. And I gave you too many signs, so it breaks your toe.
Yeah. So you stop.
So
Sit.
you're forced to sit,
Yeah.
you have to slow down. And I really wish that, and I know so many people have broken their toe, little toe before, or any of their toes, where they were forced to sit down. Those people would have had a very busy life or a very fast-moving, fast-paced life, where they were physically exhausted, but they weren't taking a break.
Yeah.
Up until they were forced to sit down.
Yeah.
Even like when COVID hit.
Yes.
It's like it forced the universe
Yeah.
and the world, basically, take a break, sit down. Like everybody's just...
And I
just
love that you mentioned
fast-moving.
COVID, actually,
Yeah.
and also your body. These are two things. Like the body side of the conversation is that our body is very smart. Our body is our subconscious mind, like Joe Dispenza
Yes.
always explains, right? And our body is very smart, and
Yeah.
it will always tell us what is wrong.
Yeah.
But we just never listen. And just because we don't listen, we create these instances
Exactly.
where we have to sit and actually listen. COVID is the best example for that. Because I remember for myself, I started my journey in 2018,
Yeah.
right? And I didn't really give it that much of an attention. But in 2020, when I sat with myself, that is when it hit me that, oh my God, I have this much knowledge. I want to learn more about myself. I want to understand why I'm creating the things that I'm creating for myself in my life. And I was like lucky enough to actually be in a place where I know that I'm the one creating, right?
Yeah.
Many people are not in that place until they stop, take a minute, and maybe, just maybe, it will hit them if it's their divine timing. I always talk about divine timing because sometimes we come and again and again, and we're still learning the same things because we've forgotten. But sometimes we learn them faster because our memory now is like, okay, I've learned this already.
I know this.
So,
Yeah.
okay, let's move past it faster until I come to a place where, okay, this is like, let's say, a virtue that, I haven't experienced this before, but I have to learn it as a soul. So I go through that experience in a slower way because it's the first time for me. But sometimes, like things that we remember them. Like for me, and I always talk about this when I was doing my own webinars. There's one time on a webinar, I was talking to my audience, and it hit me that I remembered my whole journey purpose in that very specific moment. And it hit me that I remembered it when I was 5 years old. But I had totally forgotten about it until that moment.
You remember it again.
I
Perfect
remembered
timing.
again. Like,
In a
oh
webinar.
my God. I was live and I was like, and I was talking about how we teach ourselves and how our soul remembers. And then it hit me and I'm like, oh my God, now I remember. Because when I was 5 years old, I used to tell my parents, I came here to teach people and to help people. And my parents both were teachers. They thought that I meant I wanted to be a teacher like them. But my word choice was very specific. I used those exact words in Arabic, obviously. I came here to teach people. I didn't say I want to be a teacher like you. my mom or my dad. I didn't use those words. Like if you ask a child now, I want to be a doctor like you, daddy, or I want to be like
Yeah.
you want me to be a teacher or an architect. No, I used very specific words and I totally forgot about it. And I remembered 2 years ago, whoa, on that webinar
Yeah.
specifically. And for me, it was such an eye opener to remind me of how much as a soul I already know
Yeah.
and I'm already aware. And the experiences that I put myself through are just as they're like triggers to, hey, okay, let's open this triggers. Or what do you call them? In
A
Arabic?
switch.
Switch.
Yeah.
I switch it on. Okay, now it's on.
Yeah.
Now it's on. Everything is down, but you switch it on as you go past your
Yeah.
experiences in life. Very, for me, it was like, okay. And the main reason why I reached there is because I stopped and I took a breath and I listened to myself thinking, going through and going inwards. And that's one thing that many of us don't do because we go through life in a very fast
Yeah, it's
moving.
very, I mean, it's spot on. We are souls having a human body experience.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And we get caught up by everything that's happening outside of us, that human body experience, you know. And the inwards that you're talking about, we tend to forget that there's a whole universe within that
Yeah.
that you can get in touch with. Now, some people are a bit, they're a bit confused. Like, what do you mean inwards? Like, what, like, I mean, I'm human. Like,
Yeah.
they forget, no, you are a soul having a human body experience. It's just a vessel for you,
True.
you know, that your soul is just in. Now, looking inwards is being in touch with that soul. And because people don't know how to get in touch with themselves inwards, because they don't know how to have that connection with themselves, which is why they find it very weird when we say connect inwards and take a moment with yourself. So I think it's very important to reach out to the right people.
Yeah, I was just going to ask
Yeah.
you, let's give them some tools
Yeah.
to try and start even before reaching to people. I always like to give my audience a little bit of, techniques and tools that they
Yeah.
can start with now
Yeah.
that will light this bulb. Aha, I can
mean,
go there and do this,
the easiest tool, of course, the more you practice, the deeper you go, the deeper you get connected. So don't expect that from the first time you sit down, or maybe depending on how strong your energetic connection is. Some people are just naturally very connected.
True.
And some people need more time. So don't be too harsh on yourself on how you practice and how long it takes for you to really, really connect. And every time is going to be an even more beautiful experience. Now, one of the easiest ways, and I think it's a very beautiful way of kind of getting in touch with yourself, is always to remind yourself before you begin any kind of moment or meditation is to set an intention. Why is it that you're sitting? What is it that you want to know? You know? So some people set an intention of, I want to know what my true purpose is. You know, I want answers. Ask any question you want. You know, it's like a genie in a bottle. Just go ahead and ask. What
Yeah.
you'd ask a therapist, ask yourself.
Exactly.
So set an intention, like I am sitting with myself to get in touch with my soul, to get in touch with myself. Asking permission from your unconscious mind, you know, to give permission. Is it okay for my unconscious mind to open my heart and give me the answers that I'm seeking? These kind of intentions, as long as they're positive, obviously. Set that intention and then sit with yourself in an environment, usually that, personally for me, I don't like the bedroom because I feel like each space is meant for something. So
Yeah.
this is your sleeping
Sleeping
space.
space.
Let it be for sleeping. Create a corner for you and allow that corner to be a corner for you where you disconnect in order to reconnect with yourself, you know? So have that corner for yourself. It could be, doesn't have to be fancy, just a small pillow on the floor. And step number 2, which is key, is not to do this laying down. You have to do this seated with your spine being straight. It is very uncomfortable, but that's when you open up. So having your spine straight, you can cross your legs. You can have them in a more yoga position where you put one foot up, but try to keep your spine straight. You take a deep breath in. You speak that intention. Some people like to place their hand on their heart. Some people choose to just sit and relax. And all you need to do at that moment is to repeat that intention. Okay, and focus on your breathing. Thoughts will come by.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Many thoughts will come by, but thoughts are not yours. This is something people need to understand, that because they're coming in, it doesn't mean they're distracting you. Just look at them as a frequency that's flowing through. And once it goes, like once it comes in, allow it to go. Do not fight it. Allow it to pass by going back to your intention. And keep breathing. Some people add nice frequency music, handpan music, shaman music. There's a lot of audio that can help you enhance the experience, where your brain can actually go into theta. And once you start achieving theta, even if you do this 5 minutes a day, this is not a long process. 5 minutes a day, set an intention, breathe it through, and you're going to start getting answers from your unconscious mind. It would be your own inner voice. Have a notebook next to you. Write them down once you kind of feel like that's it, you're done. Or put a music track for 5 minutes. Once it's over, you can open your eyes and start writing them. This is one of the easiest ways to slowly start building a relationship with yourself. Because you start getting used to asking yourself questions that can drive you forward. And not victimizing questions like, why is this happening?
Why is this happening? Yeah. I love this. And it's you mentioned two very important things: the breathing and also the straight posture. And the straight posture comes back to aligning all our, for those who know about the chakras, it's basically to align so that when we are breathing in, this alignment helps us or helps our unconscious mind to deliver that whatever is stuck, whatever is for us to see or to learn, to be really delivered and to just come to us in the easiest possible ways. And it really doesn't have to be
so complicated. It's very simple.
The human mind has very interesting way of complicated the very simple stuff. And sometimes making the very complicated things very simple.
Exactly.
It's and it's really learning how much and trusting. Like you mentioned allowing, and I want to say also trusting. There's something that we tend to forget. It's the power that we have.
Oh, yes.
Right? We always forget that. And we always think, oh, no, I cannot do this. I don't have the power. I don't have the knowledge. Well, if you don't, find it. Because it's there. It's there. Just like you went to college to learn. Go to your inner college, because there is, oh my God, so much information.
Infinite knowledge.
Infinite knowledge, because our soul has been through so many places, through so many instances, so many experiences, and it has this amount of knowledge that we don't tap into because we are just living life as it comes to us, or as we just, okay, let's do this.
There's a sentence that I always repeat. I mean, I didn't create it, but I always repeat it. Stop existing in this world and start living.
Yeah.
And this is the point that you're saying. They're just there. They're just existing. They're not living.
Yeah.
And for you to live is for you to experience. Allow yourself to experience.
Yeah.
And then go back and understand, why is it that I'm experiencing this? What do I need to learn from this? I mean, why are we here anyway? We're here to learn, to experience, to understand, and to grow from there. You can either choose to dig your grave, or you can choose to grow and move forward.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing is that we have a choice.
Yeah. We did an episode, I Am My Choices, in season 1, right? Yeah. And we talked about how our choices really make or break our life.
Yeah.
And it really depends on the choice that we make. And nobody has a gun to my head or to your head telling you have to do this this way.
Yeah.
The only gun that is put to our head, we put it ourselves. Nobody puts it to our head and tells us this is how you should live your life. It's our choice, and it's always been our choice. We like to blame it on others because we don't remember, and it's easier.
It's easier.
And also, most of the time, we don't remember. I mean, what we're talking about here, if our audience is not an aware audience, they'd be thinking, these ladies are like cuckoo,
or maybe the opposite isn't or
it could
they kind of make a point.
something.
Sparkle something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think mostly it will sparkle, because that's the way forward.
Yeah.
Instead of us, and when we talk about these things in a logical way, you said our soul is here to learn, no matter what our belief is. It's been through a lot, and this is a vessel that it's
Yes.
going through. It's just another vessel.
Another vessel,
Not just a vessel. It's just another vessel, meaning that it has been into another vessel before, and it's gonna go to another vessel later. Now, the thing is, do I want to live here? Do I want to live now? Or do I want to live in my past? Most of the time, people live in their past, and they create their current life from their past experiences, and they don't want to budge. They don't want to, it is what it is. And we are here to remind them that no, it's not what it is.
Yeah.
It is what you make it. And if you want to make it a good one, I would suggest start living the moment.
Living the moment. Living the now, present moment.
And live the now, and start moving forward. Not just, for me, even moving forward is about living the now.
Yes.
If you live the now in the past, you're moving backwards. You're living in the past.
Yeah.
You're not even moving anywhere. You're not even living now.
Yeah.
So if you really want to move forward, if you want to look for a brighter future, or if you want to have a brighter future, you have to have at least a brighter now. Does it make sense?
Yeah, of course. I mean, living in the now is key. I mean, it's like one of the greatest books, The Power of Now. It really teaches you how to live in the moment, live in the now. And I highly recommend this book if it's a beginning of someone's journey to change. That is your go-to book,
Yeah.
Because it teaches you how to be really in the present moment, in the now, and the power of it.
Yeah.
People might just think, okay, I'll live the moment. No, it's not just about understanding the moment. To live in the now and not have any concept of time. As in, there is no past, there is no future. There is only this moment. And I'm literally not thinking of anything else. So I could be simply looking at your earrings and flattered by it, enjoying the detail of the conversation, looking at the leaves, looking at the plant, enjoying the air, experiencing all my senses as they are in the now, in the moment. Now, if you can experience that at least 15 minutes a day, filled with gratitude, you will go to places. Yeah. You will be able to manifest. You will be able to feel happy. Yeah. However, if you constantly have anxiety of the future, and anxiety could be even positive anxiety, which is, I want this, I want that, I want to go there, I want to travel there, I want to do this. That's still anxiety, even if it's in a positive form, if you understand what I'm saying, like it's stuff that you want.
Yeah.
But it's still anxiety because it feels like you're not happy till you get there.
Yeah.
But by the time you get there,
conditional.
It's conditional, yeah. By the time you get there, you're in the now again.
Yeah.
So the concept of time is it's an illusion. It's what we make out of it.
Yeah.
And then for the people, the category of people that live in the past, as in like, oh yeah, this happened to me, and every time I think about it, I'm still depressed because of what happened 6 months ago or a year ago. They're constantly replaying it. And I always repeat the same thing to them. I said, listen, when you watch a movie and you get to a certain scene, let's say 20 minutes into the movie, would you pause, rewind, play it again, and then stop at 20 minutes, pause, rewind, play it? And they said, no. I said, why not? They're like, what, are you crazy? Of course not. We're going to continue. I said, well, if I'm not crazy by doing that, why the hell are you doing it?
In your own life.
They said, what do you mean? I said, well, that's what you're doing in your life. I mean, you pause midway through, you're reversing, and then you're watching it again till your present moment, and that's what you keep on doing. And then that's when they have that moment as oh, I didn't look at it that way. I said, well, yeah, maybe you should, because it's a movie at the end of the day. Keep the play button on.
Yeah.
And take it moment by moment, scene by scene.
Yeah.
We don't forward till the end of the movie and go like, let's see what's going to happen there and let's go back.
Yeah.
And we don't reverse and rewind the movie and rewatch it a million times till we get to the point where we stop. And it sounds crazy when you say it, because nobody would do that.
But it's such an amazing comparison that will open up their mind.
Yes.
Because this comparison, it makes them feel, these very specific people, like, really, why am I doing this?
Yes, why am I doing this? Like, why am I rewinding the movie? Just keep it on play.
Yeah. I love this comparison.
And every single movie, whether it's a romance, whether it's a comedy, whether it's a horror, it is never monotone. It is a reflection of your life at the end of the day. This is how our lives are. It would start off slow, which is your childhood. Some people would have it as bumpy, depending what you're watching. And then you have those spikes, you know, where it's a very dramatic scene, very sad scene. Then you have it down and then up again and then a happy ending.
I love the happy ending.
And a lot of people say there's no such thing as happy endings. Yes, there is. It's when you die.
Yeah.
It is very happy. Death
It
is not
is.
sad.
No, it's not. I have.
Death is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh my God, we have to talk. We have to have one
Full-on session about
yeah.
death. I mean, death is
For
beautiful
all.
for the person that's dying.
Yeah, yeah, because
not the people,
everyone
yeah.
else is gonna be missing them, and this is
Yeah.
also
So it is a happy ending for everyone at the end
Yeah.
of the day, because
Yeah.
you get to, you know, go where we don't remember where we're going, but
you get to go to,
you get to go
a new
somewhere.
place.
New movie.
Let's do
new movie.
Let's say a new place, a new movie,
Yeah.
a new experience.
Yeah.
Mais, I love having you.
Oh, I
Shall
love
we do
being
a
here.
sequel? We can do a sequel.
We can do a sequel. Yes.
Yeah. Apparently, so far, this is my third recording, and every recording, I'm noticing that there's a sequel. So season 3 is definitely
There'll be
coming,
sequels,
you
yeah.
know, as a sequel. But when we talk about our life experience, when we talk about everything that we put ourselves through in order for our soul
Yeah.
to learn more and more in this vessel, it's like a never ending. It's the Pringles
Once you pop, you can't stop.
advertisement, you know. Once
They
you
should
pop,
sponsor your
you
show.
can't stop. I think they should. Maybe I should tell them.
As in, literally,
You know?
they haven't, but we should tell them.
We should tell them. But it's a journey that doesn't stop, because the more you learn about yourself, the more you want to learn, because what you learn is actually very, very insightful and very beautiful if you really grasp that learning and understand that lesson and move forward from there, instead of being stuck or keeping it as a limitation for you to move forward. And that's why I always say, the minute you start, it becomes
An endless journey.
yeah. And you always want to do more. You always want to learn more. You always want to go to retreats. You always want to sit with people and have group discussions. And you always want, like when I told you to come on the podcast, you were like, yes, definitely. You know, you and everyone else, because once you are on this trip, it's such an amazing trip that you really don't want it to stop.
Yeah, it's beautiful because you start working on yourself more and more and more, and it doesn't lead you to insanity. I mean, some people, if they take anything overboard, it will lead them to insanity. But working on yourself is such a beautiful journey, because the more you work on yourself, the more you connect with like-minded people, the happier you become, the calmer you become. And everything's about balance in life, you know? Little for yourself, a little you spend time with others, travel the world, experience, laugh, you know? Even if you fall down a few times or many times, get back up. I mean, it's not a big issue. Get back up. I mean, there's a learning. And it's always understanding that learning on its own is never enough. It has to have a learning with a release.
Yeah.
And this I learned throughout my journey. And even if I learned why this happened to me, now the next step is, how do I release it?
Yeah. And let go of it.
And let go of it,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So people need to, it's key that knowing why things have happened to you is not enough without the release of letting it go out of your body, purging it out in any shape or form, whether through breath work or whether through literal purging, I mean, natural way. It needs to come out, you know, crying, tears, yawning, it needs to come out. So again, going to a line of expertise that can guide you in this, whether to be a life coach or whether to be a spiritual group, you know, or spiritual seatings and energy healers, where you resonate the most, where you build the biggest connection, or experiencing it with multiple, with all of them.
I say all of them because it's good.
A different experience with each
it's
one.
good to go through different experiences. It's good to go through those.
And that is the resilience you're talking about, and the power, and what pushes you through, and what keeps you grounded at the same time.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for being my guest today. I really, really love the time that we spent together, not just on the podcast, like all the time, but specifically now, especially introducing you to my humble audience, you know, and
giving them all my love.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. And
Thank
we'll
you.
definitely have a sequel to this for sure.
My pleasure.
Ready for that?
Yes.
Cool. Right, guys, I'll see you in the next episode. And if you have any questions for me or for Akram or for even Mais, just let us know. Send us those messages on Instagram. You can follow us on I Am Series platform. And this podcast is on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, Anghami, and Spotify. And I will see you in the next episode. Ciao, ciao.